Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Now just really let's sing it out together. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this
Good morning. Welcome to Everett Unity. Let's start with a reading from the Daily Word. Sunday, June 23rd. There have been times when we relied on the generosity of others. We remember feeling grateful when they shared what they had with open hearts and thinking of how we might repay their kindness. This is the true gift of generosity. Not just the material offered or the services rendered, but the feeling we are worthy of someone's time, treasure, and effort. This love and compassion is at the heart of our generous impulses too. We give not out of pity or even out of obligation or duty, but so others may know their worthiness through us. Each person is a divine being, made in the image and likeness of God. We honor each person's divinity by doing what we can to help and support them as others have helped and supported us. And the scripture today from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 9. Those who are generous are blessed, for they share their bread with the poor. So let's sing together. Our musicians will lead us in another song, and stand as you are able, and they'll lead us.
This is one you all know, I guarantee it. I've said that before, but it's true. It is. Slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kick it down the cobblestones. Look at the fun and feeling groovy, feeling groovy. Hello, lamppost, what you knowin'? Come to watch your flowers growing. Ain't you got no rhymes for me? Do 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 do, feel it groovy, groovy. Ba 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 da ba, ba ba da ba 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 ba. Feeling groovy. That's great. Everybody still knows what the word groovy means. Yeah.
It means in the groove.
Last verse. I got no deeds to do, no promises to keep. Doubled and drowsy and ready to sleep. When the morning time drop all its petals on me. Life, I love you, all is groovy, all is groovy. Ooh,
As soon as she said we all know that song, I was trying to think in my mind, who's in the room today who might not know that song? Yeah. I'm old enough, believe me, I know that song. Well, I'd like to welcome you again, and I'd like to introduce you to the people who are most visibly serving you today. You were greeted by our ushers, Therese and Mary. Our social hour is being hosted by Lonnie and Patty. Audio-video support by Walter and Josh. Our musicians, you've had a chance to meet them already, Sally, Doug, and Richard. My name is Cindy, and Doug Benecke is back here with us for meditation and lesson here in a few moments. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for all the ways that you're serving our community today. I'd like to remind you, if you brought your cell phone in, please turn that off. We love to be in contact with everyone at all times. Do you remember what life was like when you actually could not be found? I was thinking about that the other day. I always know where my family is. I always can reach them. It's so weird now. So I'd like to have a nice quiet time for meditation. And then I do have several announcements today. I'd like to remind you about a couple of upcoming events. We have our Unity Day at the Aqua Sox baseball game coming up in August. Now I know today does not look like baseball weather. I promise you it'll be different in August. We're going on August 18th, and I have tickets available. They're $12 a piece. So go ahead and grab them now. Bring your friends, bring your family. I have lots of tickets this year, so we'd love to have you join us. Then a reminder that the church picnic will be on Sunday, September 15th. That'll be right after Sunday service. We will not have social hour. We'll head out to Legion Park up in North Everett and picnic together. And then I want to start talking to you about an event we have coming up in the fall. We're going to be doing an auction. We're very excited. It will be our first annual auction. We're going to be holding it up at Floral Hall up at Forest Park, and it will be on Saturday, November 2nd. So you're going to hear a lot more information about that. It's going to be our first really big fundraising event of the year. So we're excited to share that with you. And then an upcoming music performance. We've opened our sanctuary to some friends of Everett Unity. You may have seen them at the holiday time. They came in and did a little music concert. They will be coming this Saturday, June 29th at 5 o'clock right here in the sanctuary. And they're going to be doing Songs from the Heart, Torch Songs Through the Ages. I can't wait to hear what they have planned. But it's Dina and Chrissy, and they're music students, and so I was unable to attend it at Christmas time, so I'm really looking forward to this one, and I heard it was wonderful. And then a reminder for those of you who are interested, we have our youth group and our Next Gen Unity group that meets here in the social hall. Our kids, our youth of Unity, meet during the service downstairs with Dina on the second and fourth Sunday of the month. And our Next Gen Unity, NGU, also meets that very same day at 12:30 down in the social hall. So if you are interested in either of those, we'd love to have you join us for that as well. And thank you to the people who make those things happen. We appreciate all our volunteer support. So let's sing together again. 50-50. Oh, well, I didn't want to say that from the platform. That's okay. It's just me. Today is the last day that we'll be selling tickets for our 50-50 raffle. I've been laughing about selling the gambling from the platform. Not that I really believe I'll be struck dead, but there is a way it feels wrong to me in my heart. So any of you who would like to gamble your money away, this is fun. We have the 50-50 raffle. I'm sure you're familiar with how that works. The church will keep 50% of the profit, and then we will divvy up the other 50 between 3 different winners. I can't remember exactly. Tickets are $1 a piece, 6 tickets for $5, 12 tickets for $10, right? I think so. I know, it's such a deal. So Mary and Katie will be selling tickets after the service down in the social hall. And I said today's the last day, but we'll do the drawing next Sunday, and we would let you buy a few more tickets next Sunday if you were so inclined. So I misspoke. But anyway, yes, 50-50 raffle. Okay, well, now let's sing together.
Repeat after me. You can stand if you like. This one's kind of dreamy, so don't go to sleep on your feet. I am God's melody of life. I am God's melody of life that sings a song through me. That sings a song through me. I am God's rhythm and harmony. I am God's rhythm and harmony that sings a song through me. That sings a song through me. A song of life, of radiant life. Try that. A song of life, of radiant life. A song so joyous and free. A song so joyous and free. I am God's melody of life. I am God's melody of life that sings a song through me. 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 A song of life, of radiant life, song of life, of radiant life, a song so joyous and free, a song so joyous and free. I am God's melody of life, I am God's melody of life that sings a song through me, that sings a song through me, that sings a song through me, that sings a song through me.
Let us take these next precious moments of our lives allow ourselves to relax. Allow the breath to flow as easily as it can without strain. Let us take these moments to simply be present right now. Whatever has occurred in our lives, it is all in the irretrievable past. Right now is the moment we are alive. Let us just open our imaginations to the power, the force, the love of Spirit. Let us allow that love to bless us from above and from below and from within and from without. We are poised on the edge of one moment after another. Let us find a decision point within ourselves to be open to that love from this moment forward. Let's take some moments now without any narrative, just to be present in the presence of love.
Words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Till you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one can offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. There's no other way. Now it's really up to you.
Thank you all. It is nice to be present again, once again with all of you. And, I was thinking about the songs that were on the radio in the late 60s and early 70s. And indeed, there might be a few people here who were not present for those cultural moments directly. And I don't know that we're going to start playing Nirvana or hip-hop or what have you up here.
Once a good song, always a
There
good
we
song.
go. But I'm always grateful when people are here who are younger than the mean age here. I don't mean that you're mean, it's a term. Feeling that more youthful people will lower the average age, clearly, and raise the average IQ. So thank you. Thank you much for being here. And they create a balance that, and look, I'll just say a little more off script. We have a chance to do what we do at a number of Unity churches, and this is the one that has a children's program and has a wider range. Mostly it's the gray hair set, and we're happy those are our people, but I'm very happy to be in a more diverse group, age cohort-wise. The diversity brings balance, and I was moved to think and write about balance because we've reached a point in the year when there's so much that demands our time and our attention. Things are heating up, maybe not today exactly, but a little bit yesterday. The family makes summer plans. We find if we have a spouse that they are somehow inspired to launch one fantastic idea after another, all of which require a lot of prep behind the scenes. The lawn will not stop growing, so that to mow this lawn is a little bit like painting the Eiffel Tower, right? You finish one part of it, and then you have to go back and do the other part. And now suddenly, hummingbirds are back in some kind of squadrons of hummingbirds are back. And they do fight against, they're very fierce, The Aztecs had them as a symbol of the ultimate sort of warrior. They're fierce with each other, and it seems like we need to refill the feeders about every 5 minutes. In the midst of all this, where is balance to be found? I think ultimately we find balance where all answers lie, in the power of imagination. That faculty of the mind that is, let's face it, all too often a bit vestigial. Meaning it's like an organ that used to have some purpose but is dried up and no longer works.
Oh my.
Sorry, enough of the...
You're on the edge, baby.
Or, okay, moving past vestigial in the actual script.
I'm getting red, and I'm not even...
I don't even know what we're laughing at. Maybe at me, that's fine. All right, I'll skip the rest of that paragraph. I'll bring your attention to the amazing Franciscan priest, Richard Rohr, who said, "You cannot even imagine something or do something unless you first have an image of it inside you." Which is surely why Einstein said, "I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination." Then comes the part of the quote we've all heard, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. It encircles the world." That's the larger quote that I had not known before Richard Rohr brought it to me. Now, I yearn to experience perfect balance in life because it's basically out of reach constantly, consistently for me. Jesus, of course, taught about balance. He told us to give to Caesar that which is Caesar, give to God that which is God. He put in their place those who thought, because of custom, that the adulterer should be punished with a stoning, saying, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Any volunteers? That was what he asked. He had no takers. He taught that we have a choice between Martha and Mary, between the nuts and bolts of life and the spiritual essence of the journey. I refer to the parable found in Luke. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, they came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her Airbnb to him. This is a new translation. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was not sitting at his feet. She was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. And she came to him and said, "Hey, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha," he answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Wow. I would not want to have been Martha in that moment. And stuff does need to get done, but I know what he said. I know what he's saying. The way of balance is to actually get stuff done, action, while having a spiritual focus, contemplation on the divine image, to incorporate both Martha and Mary's approaches into our way of life. Too often, we manifest our Martha nature. The lawn is mowed, the cars are washed, the fridge is stocked with food, and the sacred imagination is left to lie fallow. One lesson in balance that I continually bump up against is the equilibrium between what I think, what I judge, what I want right now, versus what is going on with you, what your needs are. In other words, looking at selfishness, always the top menu item, says the greedy 2-year-old inside of me, versus compassion. We all need to be selfish to some extent. I can't do anything if I don't take care of me. But like many others, no doubt, as always, I don't mean anyone here today or listening online. I mean maybe people you know. I have let the scale tilt too far toward my own needs, concerns, preferences, urges, and impulses, while ignoring, dismissing, demeaning, or pushing away your needs, concerns, preferences, momentary urges, and impulses. This bias towards what's important for me blinds me to what's important for you, leaves us unbalanced. Little by little, I believe this changes. Sometimes very little, in my experience, as we embrace compassion and other-centeredness over and over, as we learn to really love. That great teacher, again, Richard Rohr, brings so much to my own spiritual journey. And he says this about learning to love. "The only way I know how to teach anyone to love God, and how I myself seek to love God, is love what God loves, which is everything and everyone, including you and including me." Our inability to recognize and love God in what is right in front of us allows us to separate religion from actual life. In our lives, Father Richard says we must harmonize and balance our necessary self-care with a constant expansion beyond ourselves to loving others. It's Spirit showing us how to love our neighbor as ourself. Then love is no longer a theory or a heroic ideal. It's seeking the good of as many as possible. Sometimes we're able to rebalance ourselves and think more of others through what's ultimately a helpful conversation with someone we're close to who gives us their honest feedback, whether we want it or not. For example, we once had a neighbor with a dog who, it appeared, never got taken for walks and was frequently just chained outside. Lovely. Many evenings when we were home and our neighbor evidently was not or had turned deaf, we could hear their dog barking and barking and barking. With each bark, you awake now? I kind of ratcheted one stop farther along to the road to Grumpy Land. And when I finally would gripe to my long-suffering spouse, saying, "Listen to that dog barking over and over," she would say, "I know. The poor thing sounds awfully unhappy. It must be miserable to be chained like that." It's bad for me, but what's it like for the dog? Duh. The truth is, I had all kinds of choices, and my canine kin did not. And on the evening when the barking was what I was fixated upon, I could have used earplugs, listened to some music, played some music, gone for a bike ride, gone shopping, done so many things rather than stew, marinate in annoyance sauce. I could have used the power of imagination to try to understand what was happening for someone else, be that someone human or canine. The dog was reduced to just sitting there and bearing it. So a vital key is what we pay attention to, what we give weight to, what foundation we build our lives on day by day. Like having a whirling gyroscope inside, stability has to do with what spins and has vitality and motion within me. Am I aligned with that which is crucial to spiritual growth, or am I frittering my time away watching TV and eating junk food? I'm not knocking it once in a while, just saying. Am I utilizing the sacred power of imagination to visualize what I may do as an instrument of God's love and power in our world? Or am I just recovering from Martha-ing through all my chores, kvetching about my latest grumble, exhausted and enervated? Speaking of exhaustion, there's a photo of Roger Bannister from May 6th, 1954. That is quite the image of great fatigue. It was shot at the finish line of a mile he ran with a documented time of less than 4 minutes. 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds, to be exact. He was the first human to have a documented mile less than 4 minutes. This had been dreamed of by athletes for some time, but perhaps regarded as unimaginable. Once Bannister cracked the code, however, the inconceivable was seen as feasible. His record lasted 46 days. Yes, only a month and a half later, another runner bested his time. In 2024, we can look back on no less than 1,755 people who've run sub-4-minute miles. Maybe someone in the group today. Anyone care to? Just a thought. But what was once only imagined is now a reality. The poet David White tells a story about some time he spent with Brother David Stendelross, Catholic monk, and Brother David shared with him this poem of Rilke's, translated by Robert Bly. This is the highbrow portion of our presentation today. Poem by Rilke, The Swan. This clumsy living that moves lumbering as if in ropes through what is not done reminds us of the awkward way the swan walks. And to die, which is the letting go of the ground we stand on and cling to every day, is like the swan when he nervously lets himself down into the water, which receives him gaily and which flows joyfully under and after him, wave after wave, while the swan, unmoving and marvelously calm, is pleased to be carried, each moment more fully grown, more like a king, further and further on. And White, who had read this poem with Brother David, wrote, "I read these lines, seeing the image of the swan being borne on the waters so effortlessly, and thought of my own days, so full of will and effort." And he turned to the monk, saying, "Brother David, tell me about exhaustion." The Catholic elder, after a moment's reflection, replied, "You know that the antidote to exhaustion is not necessarily rest." What is it then? The antidote to exhaustion is wholeheartedness. You are so tired through and through because a good half of what you do has nothing to do with your true powers or the place you've reached in your life. You are only half here. And half here will kill you after a while. Half here will kill you after a while. Do you feel that, the power of that? Brother David said, you need to do something to which you can give your full powers. You are like Rilke's swan in his awkward waddling across the ground. The swan doesn't cure his awkwardness by beating himself on the back, by moving faster, or trying to organize himself better. He does it by moving toward the elemental water where he belongs. You have to touch the elemental waters in your own life, and it will transform everything. But what is hard is you have to let yourself down into those waters from the ground on which you stand. That is hard if you think you might drown. What you must do, Brother David said, if you seek that stability is to die, which is the letting go of the ground we stand on and cling to every day. We are called upon to imagine ourselves living fuller lives, touching those elemental waters, letting go of the fear that separates us from a new life we do not yet know. To be in balance is to love others and to let others love me. Not just in my radiant moments, standing in front of a crowd of people, but in my darkness. I was reminded just recently of a day when I was sad, when my inner compass pointed only to grief and pain, and how a friend's cat crawled onto my lap. And I began the slow process of being comforted, being lifted. I don't know where black spells come from exactly when they come, but you wouldn't be wrong if you guessed. They're generated by clinging, by wanting to be right, from judgment and some bitterness I continue to taste long after its season. And so slowly I am beginning to experience a balance my friends and my chosen family show me when they do not love me only when I imagine myself worthy of love, but also care for me when I'm wounded, as I surely would and will care for them when the poles shift and our positions are reversed. The balance we seek comes spontaneously from within ourselves when we engage wholeheartedly with the elemental waters in our own lives. When we let go of the ground we stand on and cling to, when we are pulled from within our hearts and souls toward love, when we imagine a different and better outcome. True balance is certainly not found through the self-seeking that's an epidemic in our culture, in our world. It comes to us through community and connection, when by grace we find ourselves shifting to a place where loving our neighbor as ourselves is what we want more than anything. It comes from the light of God inside ourselves and from the spark of love offered from those we form community with. Perhaps the whole world, even the entire universe, if the love is big enough. Friends, old and new, may we let the divine power of imagination open us to love. And may that love lead us ever onward in true balance. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy.
You know this one too. You just repeat after me.
Are you ready, boys?
am a light.
I am a light
I am a light
in this world,
in this world,
in this world.
in this world.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light
I am a light
in this world,
in this world,
in this world.
in this world.
The right place,
The place,
the right time.
the time,
I live in love.
live in love,
Let it shine.
let it shine.
I live in love.
Live in love,
Let it shine.
let it shine.
Live in love every day.
Live in love every day.
Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. I live in love every day. Live in love every day. Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. This is the time, the time is the place,
The place.
Live in love.
Live in love
Every place.
every place.
I live in love.
Live in love.
Every place.
Every
Clap your hands now. This is the place is the time, is the time. I live in love,
Live in love.
let it shine,
Let it shine.
Live in
Live
love,
in love.
let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let me hear you now, living in love, love. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine,
Let it shine.
Well, that was fun to hear a song we're familiar with done differently, wasn't it? Good.
That's our job.
That's your job. That's right. That's your job. The imagination to do a different thing, do the same thing a different way. All right, my friends. Well, now it's time to bless our offering and thank our Creator for the many blessings that we have been given and affirm our gratitude. So let's start by affirming the truth about ourselves. Most of you know how this goes. Like this. My name is, and you use your name, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. So let's say that together. My name is, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. Remember, always meaning forever and ever, and always as in all forms. So let's take your offering now. You can hold it literally or figuratively to your heart. Think about that lesson that Doug just gave us about imagination, the power to create, and how it all begins in imagination. And think about the opportunity we have here to be together like we are today, the way we are together in so many ways throughout the week and month and year, and what our future will look like together. And let's bless this offering as it goes out into the world to do good. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Amen.
We're going to do it facing this way. Oh, never mind.
You know, I'm showing my age. I can't remember anything without. So, there it is. Oh, that's the wrong key, baby. This is the other part of my disorder. Let me be a little
thank you all for coming this morning. It was a pleasure to spend part of our Sunday together. I love seeing all of your bright, shiny faces on Sunday mornings. We're going to welcome our kids in. If you have time to join us, come downstairs for social hour, have a cup of coffee, and say hello to a long-established friend or make a new one. That's always a good idea. Let's go ahead and circle around the room and maybe look at these center aisles. I realize that I have stretched you out a little bit lately, and some of you are saying, I can't stretch quite that far. So if you feel like you need to make a little more room, go ahead. But if you feel like getting cozy and standing close, do that too. Our kids will be coming in here shortly. We can't start without our kids, so we're a little bit ahead of them today. We'll just hang out here and wait a minute. Our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.